them, but it's how you love them and how you relate to them. So my wife has a name for me, and my kids have names for me, and my friends and my mom all call me slightly different things. But when they call me, they want all of me, even though the name is different. And I've been on this trip for a couple weeks, and I'm an Orthodox rabbi, and I got 8 Jewish kids back home in Jerusalem. One of them's actually here with me. And I was at a black church just out of Detroit 2 weekends ago and joined in their service. And I'm just blown away by the power of watching, because we got a little chance, Kiki and Corey and Jim and the pastor, I got to hang out a little bit over some Calvados, what was that called? And some nice rum on Friday night. And just to watch you and get to know you a little bit, and then just sitting here and watching you call out to God in the names that you use with that incredible hope, and He won't fail us. And I'm just in awe. So I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of this. It's just so beautiful. And watching other people call God in their name is just, makes me want to go home and, find my name for God. So thank you very much for having me. Just want to say quickly about this blessing. So the blessing that we're going to sing is from the book of Numbers. It predates the temple, and it's from the tabernacle. It's what the priests would bless the people with. And a bunch of years ago, I was walking outside the old city, and a friend was telling me the story that there was, in Jerusalem, there are many layers, because it's been inhabited for almost 4,500 years. And so when you build, you have to dig first to see you're not uncovering some kind of archaeological find. And they had an archaeologist come in to dig where there was a museum being built. And he's like, okay, there's nothing here. We'll just spend an hour, a couple hours. He had some volunteers. And this kid was bothering him, his 12-year-old kid was bothering him, saying, what should I do? What should I do? He said, okay, take the hammer and go hammer on that rock over there. I told this story on Friday night. And the kid went over, and he just wanted to get rid of him. The kid went over and hammered on the rock, and came back 2 minutes later and said, I broke the rock with the hammer, and I found a cave. And he's like, no, you didn't. He said, no, I did. Come and look. And it was a burial grave from Isaiah's time, literally, 2,600 years ago. And inside, there are a lot of stuff, but they found jewelry, and they also found a ball of silver. They took this, I didn't know what it was, and they took the ball of silver to the forensic institute. For 3 years, they soaked it in chemicals to soften it, and they opened it up, and it was a parchment about the size of my finger. It's actually 2 parchments. And on it, in the same Hebrew that I speak to my kids, and in this different font, but the same letters, the same words, was the blessing that you're gonna sing. And that night was a Friday night. I went home, and I was really moved by this idea. I live about a mile from the old city, and on Friday nights I always bless my kids with this blessing. And I just stood there, and I was just thinking, like, 2,600 years ago, some parent was worried about their kid and wanted their kid to do okay, and just like all of us, like just out of our control, and all we can do is channel God's love for our kids, and we don't have control anymore. I know some people, when they're little, you think you have control. You already don't, and certainly when they're older, and all you can really do is call down God's love for the kids. And so some parent 2,600 years ago had used these words and asked a priest to write it out on a piece of silver, and that kid had worn it, I hope, until he or she was 120 years old, meaning they lived through a long life. And then I just felt like, on the one hand, we're all the same. On the other hand, we all have different names to call out to God. And here I am, like a postmodern guy, and went to Wesleyan University. Like I have my own story. And here I am blessing my kids. And some parent 2,600 years ago in a very different world was using the same language to bless. So we should all be blessed. And we should all bless God in the same language, but in our own way, if that makes sense.
Give us the Hebrew version of it before we sing.
So the Hebrew version, I'm going to say it as a blessing, not just... יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך יישא, אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
Corey, we need you to do the exact same thing. Thank you, Rabbi. The Lord bless you and keep you, make His face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give peace.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn